All right, everybody. So, why the blues? Well, man, why the blues? Jeez, why did I fall in love with it in the first place? Man, I just remember this pull. The first time I heard BB King start off with slow blues, the first time I heard this come across the speakers, just it was like a lightning rod, and then hearing Muddy Waters and Albert King and Otis Rush and Howlin' Wolf and Magic Sam, you know, everything. Luther Allison, Lightning Hopkins, John Lee Hooker. I mean, the list is obviously never ending. Earl Hooker. Man, I just remember feeling like this is what I'm meant to be listening to. This is what I'm meant to be doing. I wonder if you guys can relate at all to that feeling about blues or any style of music, Same way I felt when I picked up a guitar for the first time and it just felt right in my hands. The blues felt the same way when I heard Albert King and B.B. King doing those things. And man, I was floored by, of course, everybody's amazing playing and singing. I was floored by the diversity between all these players. They were playing simple music that were most times, three chords and that's it in these songs, very simple arrangements. But everybody sounded so different and had a personal voice, which was just magical. Like when Albert King would come on and play, and then BB King would come on and play, and Freddie King would go. It was like, wow, everybody was so different. And Otis Rush would go. It was like everybody had the way of taking this language, which was like the same thing we do when we talk, and making it their own thing. And it felt like I had found a magic trick, like something that was mine and I couldn't express to anybody how amazing it was. Because like all my friends were listening to different things. And it was like I was coming from the Stone Age or something when I would try to talk to my middle school friends who were into Nirvana or Warrant and listening to Cherry Pie and try to explain to them about this Otis Rush thing that I just heard, or Mac Guitar Murphy's playing on this Howlin' Wolf song, or God, Hubert Sumlin's playing. It was like they couldn't understand. I remember even like, having a friend tell me, you should watch the Blues Brothers movie. And I thought, really? There's a movie about blues? And of course, I didn't know, anything about the Blues Brothers. And I put this movie on, and of course, it became one of my favorites of all time. But it was the music, like just floored by, wait, there is Mac Guitar Murphy and Steve Cropper, who I already knew, and all these guys. It was like, man, I really felt like I was finding a special world that was going to be only mine. Just magical stuff. Um, Man, and the differences too between like Chicago blues and the Uptown blues, BB King stuff, Southern blues, country blues, Texas blues, Lightning Hopkins and T Bone Walker and Albert Collins. I mean, I remember the first time I heard Albert Collins just come in. Just magic. I'm definitely going to do a video about Albert Collins in the future and how much he influenced me. But man, why the blues? Well, it grabbed hold of me. And then when I found Stevie Ray Vaughan, it was like, wow, he took all these influences that I'm listening to and rolled them into this new ball, and he brought Hendrix in there, and he brought a different kind of intensity and fluidity, from being from a further down the road generation. And I think that's an interesting thing right there about the blues is generationally how it grows. I wouldn't say Stevie Ray Vaughan's a better guitar player than Albert King or Freddie King, but he had more information available to him in his foundational stage to help him grow. And, over time, players' facilities got better because they were listening to more music and they were trying to reach for things, And I think that's the real truth of the blues right there is everybody was doing the best they could. That's what's staggering when you listen to Johnny Guitar Watson play his thing, and play or it's like that's the best he played. That was his original sound. Capo on. Sometimes his tuning was fucked up, it didn't matter. He was being original and honest, and that was the best he could do with the gear that he had available to him. And I think that's a thing that gets overlooked a lot about the blues is these guys and women were just trying to be themselves. They weren't worried about, copying anybody else or what came before them. They were all just trying to like find some way to do something original within the blues and just be themselves. I don't even think they really put a lot of thought into it. It was like second nature to them to just come out and find a personal voice in the blues. On a secondary point to why the blues, it was really just, man, I would go to see some of these shows, and the blues people were always so welcoming to me as a kid. I'd come into this club with a little kid with a guitar, and they'd always be welcoming to me to let me sit in or at least ask me questions, find out what I was listening to. It was such a warm, positive vibe. And I wasn't getting that in the rock world or like sometimes in the jazz world when I would meet jazz guys or rock guys. It was much stuffier, and the blues was always really welcoming to me. And of course, there's an accessibility to the blues that makes it easy for everyone to grab onto at first when they're learning the instrument. So in those formative years, when you're learning the pentatonic scale, man, it has a way of, cementing love for the blues because you're learning something that already gets you excited and turns you on and starts, forwarding your motion. And then you tie it together with the kind of music that you can apply that new thing in. And yeah, that's why. I mean, that's why I fell in love with the blues is all those factors, but at the heart of it is the heart. That's where it all lies. I've always tried to just play from here and balance that with what's going on in here and what I can do with my hands and just, pay tribute to what's come before me, but be myself because I feel like that's what all those guys were doing. And it's the reason I fell in love with the music. So go out there and put on those records, listen to the differences between all your heroes and celebrate the small differences and the similarities. It's amazing, man. Just amazing. Rulers, I'm going to have a little challenge for you guys about the blues, and that'll be in a ruler video. If you're not a ruler, you should subscribe, or at least whatever. You should join and become a ruler, or at least subscribe. You know what I meant to say. I appreciate the support on the channel. Got a lot of new stuff planned, actually. I had a lot of lightning bulb moments this week for the channel, so I'm planning some new, bigger things. And there's a big stream coming up in a couple weeks, live from Flat 5 Blues Fest. Tickets will be available soon. Myself, Kirk Fletcher, and Matt Schofield. And we'll be playing the blues the way that we see fit and the way that we love and the way that's honest to us. So, man, everybody put on a little blues for me tonight and just lay back and listen to some Muddy Waters or T-Bone Walker or Albert King and just, watch the hours fly by. All right. Ruling, everybody.